Welcome to the WTF podcast. My name is Molly Smith, and I'm on a mission to equip 1 million people with the tools to recognize when they're in the funk, but more importantly, how to pivot out of it. By tuning in today, you've joined me on this mission, and I am so glad you are here. Friends, today we have a live coaching episode with Mariana Rodova, who has been navigating several months of unemployment after being laid off earlier this year. She's been applying, interviewing, and doing all the right things, yet nothing has quite landed. So as you can imagine, after months of waiting and uncertainty, it's getting harder to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So today's conversation isn't going to be about landing the perfect job. It's about helping her navigate through what she's feeling in this season and exploring what she can do to recalibrate her energy and mindset so that she can reconnect with hope and possibility. Mariana, thank you so much for being here and trusting me in this season. How are you today?
Molly, thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate it, and I'm very excited to take this journey with you.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And I was telling you before we hit record that I am so excited for this episode because I think there are so many people out there who are exactly in your position, and you can be doing all the right things. And so tell us a little bit about what you have been doing in this season since you were laid off earlier this year.
Sure. I got the news of my layoff in November of last year, and it officially took place in March of this year. I was laid off from big tech, and immediately I hit the ground running. I just started to apply for almost anything and everything. I even had a career coach, and she said, "What do you want to do next?" And I said, "I want to pay my rent." That's
Yeah.
kind of how I felt. And I have been applying pretty much religiously to anything I could find that's in my domain. I have been networking, attending job fairs, trying to get direct referrals. And I've also got very creative on my LinkedIn with graphics and videos to try to draw in some traffic, and hopefully some employers will notice my creativity. I have been checking every day. I've redone my cover letter into an infographic to make it a little more interesting instead of your standard cover letter. And I've also been educating myself in best practices and achieving certificates in the interim as well, in my domain of marketing and creativity.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So you literally are taking all of the aligned actions. And for some, that can feel overwhelming, right? Getting out there and updating your resume and customizing a cover letter. First of all, I love that you did an infographic. That's so cool. And by the way, you guys, Mariana, super creative. And she also does this on the side, right? Like you have a creative business and ghostwriting and stuff like that, which I already told you I'm going to hook you up with a bunch of my friends because you've got some massive skills. So I absolutely love that. So you're doing the aligned action. And so right now, what I want to pivot to is where are we with how we're feeling in our mindset and so forth. So if you'll indulge me, let's walk through a couple of things and let's just see what comes up. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay. So when we talk about trying to pivot out of the funk, one of the frameworks that I've used in my life and also with my clients is what I call the next best step breakthrough framework. And it's 3 steps. So the first is let's identify what your current reality is. So you shared a little bit of what your current reality is like as of today, but let's dive in a little bit into how are you feeling? And I set the feelings wheel, and we'll pop it up on the screen for those of you watching on YouTube. The feelings wheel is one of my favorite tools. I literally have them all over my house. I have one on my desk because learning how to name, attune, and acknowledge our emotions is such a key part of building that awareness and shifting our mindsets. If you glance at the feelings wheel, or if you can describe how you're feeling in this current season right now, how would you describe that?
I feel scared because the future is very unknown, and I am very nervous about kind of stability and what that looks like. And I feel defeated because it has been a very long time. And when you feel like you're doing all the right things and you're not seeing results, I know I'm not alone. I have seen many people going through the same exact thing. But it still hurts you, especially when you're an overachiever and a perpetual optimist, to be hit with rejection after rejection. So I'm definitely feeling a little defeated, a little sad, and definitely scared.
Scared. Okay. Where do you feel that? Like when you're talking about feeling scared, where in your body do you feel that?
I feel scared in my neck and I also feel scared in my chest. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Do you recognize that feeling when it surfaces?
I believe I've gotten used to that feeling. So I
Oh,
think
geez. Okay.
which sounds kind of morbid, but it's true. I think I've just sort of been functioning in survival mode, and I definitely feel like I discount that physical feeling because it happens pretty often.
Pretty often. Okay. Now, when you say when we're feeling defeated, when does that feeling come up for you?
I would say every time I receive an email that says, "Thank you for your interest. We are so honored that you chose us for your future career. However, we decided to pursue other candidates at this time. We
Defeated.
wish you the best of luck in your journey." And I get one of those almost every day, if not every other day. And after a few months of that, it's hard not to take it personally and wonder, what am I doing wrong? When is this gauntlet of rejection going to end? And when will I land something? Not just something that fulfills me, but also something that kind of reduces that feeling of being scared or sad.
Yes, of course. Okay. So, first of all, bravo for being able to name the emotion. A lot of people don't have that skill. Like I am still working on building that skill and I'm 49. So the fact that you can name those emotions is fantastic. Now, when you feel those emotions or you get that rejection letter, what do you do? Like, what's the next thing that you do? Just out of curiosity.
The next thing I do, honestly, is I try to engage into something I can control. Like, I've been cleaning my house and I'm like, I can control this and I won't get rejected by my mop or my kitchen. So I tried to do something I can control. And if not, I might just crash out. I might just take a nap and kind of process what had happened and know I'll start again, and I feel guilty because that's not productive. Um,
Mm,
so rest is productive, but I don't feel like it at some point because I really feel like I should be spending every minute of every day working towards the goal of obtaining employment.
yeah. Okay. So again, you're amazing because and again, this is the circle of control. I love this little wheel because sometimes it's hard to remember what we can control. We can't control which companies are going to say, yes, you're moving on to the next round, or here's an offer, or thank you, but. And so I love that you do that. I want to dig in a little bit to the story that you tell yourself that I have to be productive every single minute of the day when you take space for self-care. So, where do you think that story comes from?
Probably, I had been investigating it, probably years of conditioning to be an achiever. I mean, I was sort of diving in this when I wasn't napping. And I'm thinking, even when as a child, it's get good grades, do a good job, get into a good college, pick a degree, you'll get a good, position and career. And a lot of millennials feel like we've been lied to regarding, but I think it's been sort of this perpetual need to achieve since the very beginning of birth, even. And I also just have this guilt. Maybe it's a woman thing. I have this guilt of when I, take a moment to rest. Am I resting too much? Am I not being productive? Did I miss an opportunity because I thought a nap with the window open would be more productive than sitting in front of my computer designing more creative pieces and applying to more positions?
Yeah. So, we're going to talk about self-care a little bit later because it's so important. So that story that I should be more productive has a performative undertone to it. I also have that performative undertone that if I do more, I'll get more and achieve more, right? I always ask my clients and people I talk to, is that perception or is that reality? And more times than not, it's perception. It's not reality. Mariana, you're doing the things. You're doing the things at a rate that is amazing, right? You're applying to the jobs, you're being creative. You aren't sitting on your thumbs eating bonbons, watching reruns of Oprah, right? Like you're doing the things, which if that's not a bad idea. Like, you can do that too. If that's what you need in the moment, then tuning in to what you need in the moment is the right thing to do. The other thing that I'll say is what's meant for you will not miss you. So you taking a nap or walking the dog or sitting on the couch watching, reruns of Oprah or whatever it is, right?
Grey's Anatomy.
Great. Oh, girl. Well, then you are definitely my people. Okay, for sure. Reruns of Grace. Love it. What is meant for you is not going to miss you. So doing those things isn't going to mean like you doing those things is not going to cause you to miss your next opportunity. It's just not. It's just not the way it works, right? Okay. So you've identified how you feel in your current where you are and how you feel in that current reality. So the next step is how do you want to feel instead? Instead of sad and scared and so forth. What would you like to feel instead?
I would like to feel relief. I would like to feel
Mhm.
safe,
Mhm.
just emotionally and financially. And I would like to feel hopeful. And I would say happy. I would really like to feel happy and excited about the future instead of holding my breath every time I open my inbox.
Yes. Okay. Can you remember a time when you felt hopeful and safe?
I would say the last time I felt that was probably when a recruiter reached out to me about the tech job that I had. And I hadn't even considered being a technical writer. I didn't really know what it was. And they said, "We think you'd be a good fit." And I thought, sure, I'll try it. I was navigating another period of unemployment right after the pandemic. And when I jumped into that, after the first couple weeks, I felt excited. I felt hopeful. I saw myself growing with the company. I thought it was really neat that I was learning a new skill and a new career path that I hadn't considered. And I did feel financially and emotionally safe at the time. So at the beginning of that big tech career,
Right.
we got the news later of the layoff.
Okay. So, one of the things that is, from an energetic standpoint, is we want to ground ourselves in the feeling that we want to feel. So, if you can go back to the first, when that recruiter reached out to you and said, "We think you'd be a good fit." And then you went through, like, do you remember? Can you kind of go back into your kind of mind's eye and remember what that felt like and how that felt in the body?
I'm pretty sure it felt exciting. Like, it just was sort of this buzzing energy of excitement, and then I had to share that. So, I definitely reached out to my circle of trust and my parents and told them what was happening, but I would say a buzzing energy of excitement.
Okay. So I love that buzzing energy. Where do you feel that in the body when you feel that?
The heart and if it's weird, all through my limbs, if
Oh,
I
yeah.
could if I could include them, probably and also butterflies in the stomach, which is somewhat cliche, but definitely my heart and my limbs, and we'll throw in the stomach as well.
Absolutely. Okay. So one of the things that will help magnetize and draw in from like a frequency, again, I'm kind of an energetics like nut, is embodying that feeling now. So if you can take time during the course of your day, and maybe it's you take some time and you close your eyes and you just kind of get, silent and still and go back to what that felt like to feel that energy and that excitement and that buzz, right? And just take some time to go back to that feeling state because that's what you want to feel again. Wouldn't it be amazing if a recruiter reached out to you and said, "Hey, we saw your resume, we saw your experience, and we think you'd be amazing for this opportunity. Will you come in and interview for it?"
Is it weird that I had a touch of that feeling when I bought a new mop?
No, no. Actually,
There's
that's
it
brilliant. Okay, so here's the thing is that I love that. Oh, I'm so glad that you said that. When you can you're looking at me like, "You're nuts." No, I love the fact that you have felt that in other areas of your life. So you bought a new mop. That's gotta be one hell of a mop, I've just gotta say. But the fact that you felt that under a different, like, circumstance, you want to channel that feeling. So whether you are sitting and you're like, "I'm so excited that this recruiter reached out to me," or, and you get to that feeling state, okay? Because the feelings have an energetic vibration, and that is what is going to cause you to call in that recruiter, that, "Yes, that we wanna keep talking to you. Let's keep talking about this particular position." So whether you are taking time to go back to that recruiter or when you picked up your new mop or you used your new mop, it doesn't make a difference, right? It's the vibration and the feeling that you are channeling in that moment, that is what is going to magnetize what is coming for you. Okay. So, girl, whether you channel the mop or you channel when that recruiter came out to you, but that is such a beautiful thing to ground. The next part of the framework actually is, what is one thing that you can do that can anchor that feeling? It actually already answered that. So that would be pulling out your freaking cool mop. By the way, we're just going to need to know what the mop is at some
It's
juncture.
it's one of those, it's actually the knockoff version, but it's one of the ones that has the sort of oscillator within. So it's a complete unit that has the bucket area for your cleaning solution, and then the ringing area.
I love it. Okay. So we're going to anchor that mop to the feeling of excitement and energy and fun and all of those things. So when you are feeling dejected, sad, fearful, freaking pull out that mop. Okay. Like literally, because we're going to anchor the feeling that you want to feel to an action that you can take in the moment. That's the key, right? Again, the goal here is to get you into the feeling state that you want to be in. Now, we don't want to do that without feeling the negative emotion that you're feeling. Like if you get another, I'm sorry, but email, it's important to feel that, to acknowledge it and let that process through as opposed to ignoring, stuffing, or escaping, right? So we want to feel the emotions, because if we don't process those emotions, we're going to trap them, and that creates all kinds of other issues, right? So that anchor, the anchor is the mop. Girl, I love that. That is the best. So if there are other things that also help you feel energized and excited and happy and safe, do those things. Okay, that should always be a pivot for you in this season. Okay, the next thing I want to chat about is a lot of times the stories that we tell ourselves, the thoughts that we have, are connected to the inputs, what we read, what we watch, what we scroll, who we spend time with. So I'd love to just dig in a little bit to, where do you, like in terms of the things that you consume, like do you watch, well, we know you love Grays, so okay. But do you watch a lot of TV? Do you scroll a lot of social media? Where do you spend some of that time? Tell me a little bit about that.
I definitely match my energy, which is probably not the best thing to do, like the
Okay.
negative energy. I
Yeah.
find myself scrolling through social media and deliberately finding people going through the same thing. And while it's validating to hear, people are going months and months without hearing, that they got the job, it's also, I guess, perpetuating those feelings of hopelessness. Like, oh, well, they didn't either. And everyone's experiencing it. So I am too.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, and you actually just made my point for me. So brilliant. Like you're amazing. Is that when you consume content that keeps you in fear, scarcity, lack, then it's just going to reinforce those stories. So I would encourage you, if you're open to a suggestion, is to curate your feeds. So if you're following people who are like providing job tips and interview tips, I think that's beautiful. If you have a lot of people who are like, I've applied again and didn't receive anything, I would snooze those people. I would unfollow those people for a season, because what we put in, right? What we put in, what we consume, what we read, what we watch, what we scroll, who we spend time with impacts our thoughts, which shape our beliefs, which fuel our actions, and our actions dictate our results. So if we don't like our results, part of changing that is going back and shifting those inputs. We are giving our energy to something that is either life giving or life draining, right? So I would encourage you to follow people who inspire you, people who are adding value to your life, and just temporarily snoozing those who are keeping you in that divisive place, if you will. So is this helpful? Is this,
Yeah,
yeah,
it is helpful,
okay.
especially the advice of snoozing, even though maybe that sounds like common sense, but you get so caught up in the validation and the camaraderie and the misery loves company piece of it. So
Yes.
it's helpful. Thank you.
Yes, of course. It's natural to want to feel validation that you are okay, that you're not doing anything that is keeping you in this state, right? But the reality is that you don't need validation from anybody else. you're doing an amazing job, right? You don't need me to tell you that.
I
You
do.
There is a job that is coming to you, and it's going to be the job that you want, making the salary that you want, not the salary you need, doing work that energizes you, interests you, and so forth, right? Now, earlier this week when we chatted, I asked you to write down what would you love? This is a beautiful reframe. If you could write down what you would love in terms of a job or employment or whatever, getting crystal clear on that is going to be really important. So were you able to spend some time thinking about that? Okay.
Once I did my homework as the overachiever that I am.
I love it. Okay.
And
Tell me, what would you love?
well, I will say first, it was a very difficult exercise because it was
Yeah.
hard to sort of break free of the current reality and dream. It was because I'm just like, no, I just want stability. That's what I want. And to really pie in the sky, it was difficult. Um, not a bad, didn't make any bad feelings, but I found it very challenging.
Sure.
I would say what I want is an opportunity to be creative and I want to lead a team. I want to be a people leader. I want to create, engage, inspire. I always say I just want to make people feel good. I think that's my purpose in life. And I'd love to do that through creative means. And whether this is working for an advertising company or a publishing company, I lean very heavily on my marketing because I have years of that. And it's sort of that, well, I should do this because that's where my experience is. But I want to work somewhere where I can make a difference, lead a team, and be creative.
Yes. Okay. And when you picture that, what does that feel like? What does it feel like?
Exciting. Once I can get past the current reality, it does feel exciting and it makes me feel whole.
Okay. Oh, I love that. Okay. Okay, so that's brilliant. So every day, did you journal that?
I wrote it down, yes.
Fabulous. Okay, every morning, I want you to read through that. I want you to read through that. And if it shifts or adjusts or what have you, you know, keep adding notes. What you want, not what you don't want. Because what you focus on is what you get, right? So if you focus on more applications or more rejections or what have you, you're just going to get more of that. Okay. So we want to get grounded and clear in what you would love and how it's going to make you feel. So every morning I would read through that. One of the things, this is such a beautiful practice, and I learned this from a coach friend of mine, and I've incorporated it into my life and into how I work with my coaching clients. And that is to express gratitude for that job in the present tense. So it's expressing future gratitude. So I am so grateful that I get to use my creative skills and to lead a team and to pour into people and add value to a company. And I'm so glad I get to do this every day. So you express gratitude for that which you do not yet have as if you already have it. Okay.
I've never tried that.
Oh my gosh, it is such a game changer. It is such a game changer. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send you my next best step daily journal, and there's spaces to do that. So I'll send that to you as well, because it just makes it really easy to write down 3 things you're grateful for that exist in your current reality today. So it could be, I am so grateful for my coffee. I'm so grateful for my dog and for a good night's sleep. And then I am so grateful for this job. I am so grateful that I've built my savings back up. I am so grateful that I have this amazing team that I'm working with, or what have you, right? You write down 3 things you're grateful for in your current physical 3D reality, 3 things that you are grateful for that have not yet happened, and write them in the present tense. Girl, that is such a game changer. Such a game changer. Okay. So reading through what is it that you would love and then expressing gratitude for it as if it's already here. Girl, I literally have like chill bumps, which is my sign that what I am talking about and connecting and channeling here is going to be a game changer for you. Okay. All right. So there are a couple other things, and I love these practices I want to share with you. And I will absolutely send you, like, I have this kind of documented, so you've got it. And I call them the Empower practices. Empower is an acronym. So the first one is an emotions check-in. We've already done that. Ask each morning, asking yourself, how do you feel right now? This is also included in the journal that I'm going to send you. The M in Empower is for meditation or mindfulness. Do you do any type of meditation or mindfulness or prayer or anything like that?
I do prayer, probably not as often as I should, but I do
Okay.
pray. And I also try to listen to music and let myself daydream during music. So it's very
I love that. Okay, brilliant. Couple of minutes of that. And what I love about these practices, you don't have to do all of them, but they are stackable. And when you do a couple of them, there's an added benefit, right? So meditation or mindfulness, just getting still in the body and with the breath is something that is grounding and just creates some space for creativity, ideas to come through. The the P in empower is your physical energy reset. So this can be walking the dog. This is a lot of times I sit at a desk a lot of times, and when I get rooted in frustration or something's not happening, or maybe for you, it's I got another email and you're frustrated to change your state. Ed Milet calls it changing your state. And I literally have to physically get up and go do something else. So I go let the dog out, I go water the plants, I go out, and I physically have to get up and change my state because if I'm sitting for a period of time in the frustration, in the rejection, in the anxiety or the fear, I just go down the proverbial rabbit hole, right? And so changing your state, you've got a dog. What kind of dog do you have?
a happy pit bull, a
Oh,
9-year-old pit bull.
oh my goodness. What's your pit bull's name?
His name is Manny.
Manny. Okay, love it. Walking Manny. Perfect. Okay. The O in empower is to observe and shift. Give me a thought that comes to mind on a regular basis for you.
I don't know if I'm ever going to get a job. I
Okay.
am scared what will happen if I don't.
Okay. Let's take the first part. I don't know if I'm ever going to get a job. So we want to observe that thought. So being cognizant of that thought and then reframing it, right? So we can reframe it with that future gratitude statement. Or you can say something like, what's meant for me is not going to miss me. I'm taken care of. My ideal job is on its way, right? So just reframing those thoughts, because again, thoughts become things, right? So if we're focusing on the negative, all we're doing is bringing in more negative.
And that's going to feel funny at first, I
Oh,
imagine.
100%. 100%.
I
It's going to
mean,
feel freaking awkward. Yes.
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
100%.
Awkward and still a hint of doubt
Yes.
when
And
you first.
that's okay. That's okay. It's you're building a muscle there. And maybe what you need is like Post-its or note cards, or you probably make a beautiful infographic because you're you. And you can create little cues or Post-its or whatever around your home, on the refrigerator, on the bathroom mirror with reframes, right? To remind you. So I like that is, especially if you're getting into a spiral of negative thoughts or you're feeling pretty down, certainly but have those visual cues for reframes. So, okay, the next one, so empower, EMPOW, the W is water. We've got to hydrate. So making sure that you are hydrated on a regular basis. I have my What the Funk Yeti here that I keep close by because it's easy to not take care of our physical need. Like it's easy just to set that aside, especially when we're in the funk, right? The E is expressing gratitude. Girl, we've already talked about that, but expressing gratitude for what you have and what's to come. And then the R is to replenish with self-care. So girl, if you need to watch a couple of episodes of Grey's Anatomy, watch the freaking episodes of Grey's Anatomy without judgment. If you need to take a nap, take the nap. Self-care is so underutilized, yet so important. You know how you feel in the moment. If you need to take a break, if you need to step away from the applying or the scrolling with the job search, do it. Honor what your energy needs there. So those are a couple of practices, and I'll send you a sheet on that too. And like I said, picking out what works best for you and stacking them if you're in a particular funk one day is a really good practice. But again, the idea here is to shift your outlook, your mindset, so that you are tuning in to the frequency of, man, it's coming. It's going to be amazing. Just like how you feel when you're mopping your floor. Can I get an amen? Right? Like that's what we're looking for. Okay. Because our frequency is like the radio station that we are tuned into. So if you are tuned into 101 FM, which is the, oh shit, I don't have a job frequency, And the vibration or what's coming out of that radio station is, I'm scared. I don't know what I'm going to do. What's going to happen to me? All the future tripping things that we do, then you're going to be in the funk, right? But if you're tuned into 98.7, aligned and excited FM, right? And you're thinking, I'm so grateful for this job and this team and this wonderful work that I get to do, right? Then that's the frequency, that's the vibration you're putting out there. And again, what is meant for you is going to come to you. The perfect job, your next opportunity is on its way. It's on its way.
And Molly, what are some, I guess, tips on how to release the time bound aspect of that? So
Yeah.
the expectation of, well, I'm doing all of these things. Well, why hasn't it happened yet? I feel like that'll undo all of the frequency work that you're trying to do. So how do we release the time bound aspect?
You obviously feel an urgency, right?
Yes.
Okay. What would it feel like to surrender the time?
It would feel like a release, and a relief,
Okay.
and just like letting go, letting go,
Yeah.
freedom. It would feel like freedom.
So when we are gripping tightly to the how it's going to come or the when it's going to come, it feels like constriction, right? So if we open up and surrender, and you said you are a person of faith, so you've got some connection with the divine, with the creator. And I think having faith, especially in seasons where we're in the funk, I think is so important. When I am grasping and holding on, I'm trying to control something that I can't control. It's not my control, right? The time is not your control. So what you can do is try to ground yourself in the frequency of, I'm so excited. I want to make sure that I say, like, if you are feeling upset, scared, whatever, honor those feelings, journal about them, journaling them, getting them out on paper. There's something so powerful about getting what's up here onto paper because you've put it someplace, right? But going back to your question about just the time and the when and the how and all of that, because we are people of faith, we know that the creator is in charge and he's got it. He's got it. Now, we don't know how it's going to come through. And so the ability to surrender and to let go of the grip, because the timing and the how, you can't control those. And so part of it is having some faith. And sometimes it's having some, pissed off faith, right? Like, I'm just going to be real. Like, sometimes I get into like that 2 to 3 year old toddler phase and I'm like, what the hell? I've been doing it. I've been doing the things. I've been taking the aligned action. Why isn't this happening?
Yeah.
Right. And so in that, we just want to just acknowledge, hey, this is real. This is happening. And I get it. But then we want to pivot. How do we want to feel instead? Go get your mop. That mop is the best freaking anchor on the planet. And you've got it. It's tangible, right? And so you're never going to look at the mop the same, by the way.
It's
Just
so
saying.
weird, but it's true.
I love it.
Got it. I was super excited when I put it together. And I was super excited. When I look at it, I smile, which is so bizarre.
I will.
but it's
Who
true.
cares? It doesn't make a difference. It is now the anchor for how you want to feel. And so when you find yourself going down that rabbit hole of, oh, timing, how, when is it going to happen? I want you to remember that there's a creator who is orchestrating all of it. And you've made clear what you would love. So I would go back to, what is it that I would love? And getting back into that feeling state, what is it going to feel like when I'm working, using my creative skills, have a team that I love to work with. We're doing amazing things, adding value for this company and getting grounded in that vibration, in that frequency. Okay. Because the holding on to the time and the how is going to keep you in 101 FM, fear and scarcity. Right. And so it's just a pivot. It's an acknowledgement of where you are, but then it's a pivot there. Is that helpful?
That is helpful. And I like the tools to try because I love some homework.
Okay. Oh, good. That's good.
Not looking at it as something I have to do and then everything will happen because I'm doing it, but
Yeah.
an exploration. Kind of.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay. The last thing that I want to do, I would love to do just an energetic integration. So if you'll indulge me a little bit, I just want to do the guided breathing flow, if you will. If it feels comfortable to close your eyes, I always put my hand on my heart when I do this. Okay, so here we go. I just want you to take a slow breath in, and I want you to exhale the tension that's been building for months. Imagine that every thank you but email, every unanswered application, every heavy thought is leaving your body with this breath. Now breathe in light, possibility, and trust. Let yourself feel the space you're creating inside. This is where your next opportunity will land. One more deep breath in. And breathe out. Love it. Okay, friend. All right, Mariana, thank you. Okay, so a couple of things. I'm like super invested in this journey with you. And so a couple of things. I'm going to send you my journal. I'm going to send you the Empower practices, but I would love to stay connected to you through Marco Polo. Are you familiar with the Marco Polo app?
I know it. Please
Oh
tell
my
me.
gosh. It's so cool. I'll send you a link, but you and I can just send video messages back and forth. So if you're in a day where you're in the funk or what have you, you can just send me a quick message and we can talk back and forth. To me, eyeball to eyeball is a better exchange of energy. And so I would love to offer that as support if you're open to that. But I just believe with everything that's in me that your next opportunity is right around the corner. It's on its way. And so when we can embody the frequency of that excitement and that expectation and that happiness and so forth, it's going to come sooner.
That feels more tangible and it definitely feels more authentic than, don't
Yeah.
worry, the perfect job is right around the corner. People mean
Yes.
but everyone says that. So having the
Yeah.
tools to back it up definitely
Yes.
would feel more real.
Yes. I love that. Okay, friends. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. We'll keep posted on Mariana's journey. If you know of somebody who is in the same season, please forward this episode. It may help them show up in a different way with a more positive outlook and recalibrate their energy so that next opportunity comes a whole lot quicker. All right, friends, we'll see you next time.